championship picture looking clearer as the weeks go on, some drivers may question why they even keep showing up. Well, what if we could sweeten the deal, double the points, put some cash money in the line? Well, with $165 in the pot tonight, let's see who can win the fourth crown jewel event of the season, the Cyberspace 100 here at Eldora Speedway. How's it going, everyone? My name is Finity Kuna here with Connor Horn. Connor, glad to have had you with me all season long, and especially for some of the fantastic races we had this season. Eldora, we know it can put on a good dirt race. We've seen it in the past, we've seen it earlier this season, and here we are back again now. Double the distance, double the points, and money on the line.
And much more money on the line for sure. And like you mentioned, we've seen how good this track can race before this season. This is the first track that we have seen this season. Every single week up to this point, we've had a new track to go to, but this week's first repeat track will go to Lucas Oil for the second time later in the season. The dirt track in Charlotte, obviously the crown jewel at the finale, another one we'll visit again, but Eldora, a track that has to be on the schedule twice. It's going to be a blast. You're going to see drivers ripping the wall by the time it comes down to the final 5 laps or so, and you're going to see slide job after slide job with all the money on the line, especially with all the other drivers we have in the field tonight. It's going to be pretty intense.
It's going to absolutely be intense. Drivers are getting their last little bits in for practice here as they take a look around the track and the daytime. Of course, daytime not going to last long because qualifying's going to be coming up, and it's going to get later in the afternoon. And for these drivers, the track's going to be pretty much reset as they get ready to go back out there and get down to business for qualifying. And we've seen qualifying can be a mixed bag here or there, especially with some of the smaller fields we've seen in the later half of the season. At some tracks, maybe not as important. What do you think, Eldora? More important or less important?
I don't think it's going to be as important here in a 100-lap race. I think any track where you have 100 laps to kind of work over the track, I don't think you really need to qualify very much at the front. I think the guys who are fast will probably qualify at the front, but in case a guy like Beckner or Jaden Freiberger, if those guys start near the back, they have plenty of time to work their way up to the front. But I'm more concerned about the tire life for these drivers. I mean, we've seen in these 100-lap features how important saving the tires are. We saw it at Lucas Oil back in May, paid off for a lot of drivers who saved their stuff. We saw it last at Huset's Netcode Nationals. That was only 80 laps, and tire saving still mattered. That was Freiberger's first victory of the season. He was able to keep the tires on it. It's going to matter for all these drivers to keep the tires on it. But as far as qualifying up at the front, I don't think it's going to be as important tonight as it would be for a normal 50-lap feature.
Taking a look as the first couple drivers come across the line, Jake Witherspoon will not go up to pole at the moment. Travis Beckner will hold that spot with a 14.826 as he comes flying back around once more. Does he improve? He will not. That first time will stand. Witherspoon does improve, moves up to second place, and the drivers come and tick across the line. Jacob Cannon working his way around. A lot of frustration out of that machine in the 93. He's finished second, if I'm not mistaken, the last 4 races in a row. So he's looking for something better, looking for something a little bit more to try. Still trying to get that first one of the season. We say week in, week out, he has a shot, he has a shot. He's gotten so close. In qualifying, though, will not get the best run on lap number 1, but lap 2, we'll see if he can improve.
Yeah, running the higher part of the racetrack. Now he's going to go to the bottom for his final lap, just rip as close to the inside concrete barrier as he can, just try to get the run to the line. It's a 14.87, puts him second, but just behind Beckner by about half a tenth, and that's probably the last person he wants to see ahead of him. It's been a lot of contact with that 27 car since he joined this series, and like you said, we heard it so much last week especially. It's about the 4th or 5th race in a row he's been ran into by either Beckner or someone else, as Weishart goes 5th on the board. It's about time, you would think, he starts sticking up for himself, and he needs to start earning, I guess, a little bit more respect. I mean, I don't know how he couldn't have respect. He's been fast ever since he joined.
To the Jaden Freiberger, new colors on that car in the 24 machine. Slides out of turn 4, 15.2, not particularly great first lap. We seen a couple drivers eyeing and trying to do much better on the second one, lap number 2, as he works to the inside. You've seen a lot of drivers get close to that wall off the turn, 14.9. Not his best, but I think it should put him in the top 5. That will actually put him in 3rd. So decent effort for him. Clayton Johnson, though, decent effort for him. Not better on the second lap. And he will end up in 5th place.
Yeah, it's his first start in a little while. You know, he won about a month ago at Cedar Lake, and I don't think we've seen him back since, actually. So He's trying to go, I guess, in his case, 2 in a row. Also not in the session yet, but it looked like Dalton Kane did register for the session. We haven't seen him in a long time. He's had a rocky season when he has made starts. We last saw him at the beginning of July at Oswego, and he finished 5th that night in a pretty wild race where I believe he might have gotten suspended, but remember how crazy that one was. Mason Kane, staple of this series, looking for a good run tonight. He's had a kind of a struggle this season as well.
Has had a bit of a struggle here and there. Might have a couple decent finishes. We'll see if he can pull off something tonight. Cross the line 15.3 and hits the wall, and you can see the frustration with that. So unfortunately not going to be a particularly great run for the 31 machine, and with that it's going to be wrapping up qualifying. There and then and there, Travis Beckner, another pole position for him, and that will be pole number 8.
It's funny, he's had a lot of poles this season. This one's not surprising. Last time we were at Eldora back at the beginning of April, this was actually what would end up being his first victory of the season. And that was him finally beating Tyler Gary straight up, basically, at Eldora. He led 30 of 50. Gary led 15. Freiberger was 3rd. Jordan Martin, who was still competing with us at that point, on his top 5 streak, but pretty much the same size field. Really not much different from that race as, Cannon, Freiberger up there. Cannon and Witherspoon, different players from what we saw in April, and Bunkeri, Senesac, Borgmeyer, Swan, Casey, Lakatos, 15th, all rounding out this field tonight.
Yep, and we seem to be it. I was kind of hoping you could see Dalton Kane come back. I think that would have definitely made an interesting mix. I'm sure some drivers would prefer not to see him back in the series, but especially for a race with a lot on the line. And the big thing too, you're joking about making the pot sweeter, of course, not just by money, but the points. Again, double the distance, double the points. And when you look at the points picture, it's very much in Travis Beckner's favor. He's 83 points ahead of Jaden Freiberger as it stands right now. So he's got a very comfortable lead heading into the remainder of the season, actually in really the final stretch of this season, because after tonight, we've only got 5 more races left till we wrap up the championship. So, he's got almost a 3-race lead. So double points, that's going to be huge for someone to try to make things up. And especially, I think Jaden Freiberger is 2nd in the points, tailing him, so he could really use those extra points.
Yeah, anything you can get, really. I mean, it's going to be tough to catch Beckner in the points from 80-plus back, and Casey Borgmeyer's another 60 back compared to Freiberger. That's 142 points. I mean, it almost feels like it's the battle for second at this point. Might not feel like it, but this is kind of the home stretch of the season. After tonight, we only have 5 more races on the season, and one of them is a 100-lapper, the finale. So if you're going to try to make a title push, you have to start beating Beckner now and just hoping he has issues. A point lead this big with, including tonight, 6 to go, it's going to be tough to overcome.
Going to definitely be tough to overcome. Waiting for gridding, waiting for Travis Beckner to get gridded and get loaded, and there he is popping into place. And take a look at your starting lineup here for the first of 3 heats here tonight at Eldora. Starting on pole for this, it's going to be Travis Beckner, of course, starting qualifying in pole position with a fast lap. 8th of the season. Jake Witherspoon lined up, going to be next to him in the 04 in 2nd place. Back behind them, David Weishart in the 29 machine in 3rd. Jacob Bell lined up in 4th in the 77. And Casey Borgmeyer lined up 5th in the 101. He'll round out our field of 5 tonight.
And Witherspoon EOL after multiple incidents in last week's race, so he'll start at the back of the field, try to get back up maybe to 2nd position. He'll have to get through some pretty tough cars to pass, like Weishart, Bell, Borgmeyer. I mean, they're not going to be pushovers. Dalton Kane would have started 6th in this heat, but not in the session.
Yeah, especially for confirming he won't be joining us on the track tonight. He might be just spectating, seeing how things play out. These 5 will get ready to go. Borgmeyer there slots into 4th. Witherspoon will slot into 5th. We'll see if he can make up some ground. Definitely a quick car, the 04, but has not really had the mission, so we'll see what he can do from way back in this tight field for heat number 1. Pace truck off and away. Fielding control of Travis Beckner. And there they go. Gary gets on the gas. As they roll to the start-finish line, green flag in the air for heat number 1 here at Eldora. Beckner off and away, clean getaway for him. And then it's Bell. There's Witherspoon trying to work immediately to the outside of, and look at that 3 wide there for a second off the corner. He's wasting no time.
And it's already pretty good. I mean, this track's pretty much 100% clean, and Beckner's making the bottom line work because it's not worn out at all, but Witherspoon's still able to make that way topside work, although this time he tried to go to the middle. Jacob Bell kind of took that line up, chopped him up a little bit, but Witherspoon's still going to get to the 3rd spot over Casey Borgmeyer for the time being. Borgmeyer trying to fight back to the bottom, but Witherspoon fast on the top side.
And there he goes with the dive down low, caught Bell sleeping, couldn't defend in time. Slide job in front, and from 5th to 2nd in a matter of 3 laps. A very good climb forward. Not done yet, though. Bell comes back on the counterattack to the inside.
It's pretty much like the initial start, side by side, 2 rows deep, as Travis Beckner's ahead of it all by about 1.5 seconds already. Witherspoon to 2nd. Bell's going to try to fight him back, but Weishart's going to try to look for 3rd at the same time. Now everyone but Borgmeyer from the top side in that group, while it looks like Witherspoon's going to get away with this spot. Now the battle's for 3rd.
Battle for 3rd now as Witherspoon begins to check away. Whoa, big dive from Borgmeyer, has to back off, and you see how much momentum he had. He lost having to back out of that in the corner. Settles back in 5th. Ooh, as Bell goes up and into the wall. Weishart will take 3rd, Borgmeyer 4th, and Bell will go back to 5th, and he completely destroyed the right front of the car. He's going to be done. He's going to have to settle for 5th if he can make that thing go around just a handful more times.
And that wall kind of turns in on the exit of the corner, so it was a pretty big whack to the outside wall. He slid up the track a little bit too late, so he's going to start from the back of the field tonight as Beckner only has 1 to go.
Yeah, 1 to go. Haven't really looked at him all race long. He effectively went out away and checked out from the rest of the field. And here he comes sliding out of turn 4. Checkered flag for Travis Beckner. Another heat win for him. A win heat 1 with Witherspoon, Weishart, Borgmeyer, and Bell trailing him behind.
And Bell's going to try to trail behind his quest to try to finish. I think he'll come up just short on the timer. Dalton Kane did join the session there, by the way, so maybe he will be in the feature, but not in that heat. We'll have 2 more to go, see how this track develops. And yes, Jacob Bell did cross the line, so he did officially finish.
And I do see Dalton Kane finally popping up. There we go. So he will be potentially joining us. Potentially having 16 drivers lining up for the main event. Moving on quickly to heat number 2. And a solid order here, especially in that front row. Jacob Cannon, Clayton Johnson. That can get spicy here.
Yeah, especially, like I said, Clayton Johnson's first start in a little while. Joseph Swan in the field as well. New paint scheme from what I'm used to seeing. Jacob Cannon, Clayton Johnson. I mean, that's another person that Jacob Cannon hasn't really gotten a lot of respect for when they're on the same track as each other. So I'm just interested to see how that 93 races everyone tonight.
Yeah, again, we heard him in the interview last week. He was sick of being used up by other drivers out there. And I think he's kind of debating whether or not it's time to pay him back, you know, what he feels like he's owed. And honestly, I don't blame him, especially with how much is on the line for tonight. You know, at some point, you got to throw it back. And there goes the 225 lineup next to him. And actually, I almost want to say, with how similar the paint schemes look, I wonder if they're officially teammates now? Or that's just coincidence?
Maybe coincidence. That'd be kind of interesting, honestly.
See long on both of them. I don't know if they're using up base paints for something else, but Jacob Cannon be lined up on pole position for heat number 2 here. Clayton Johnson, new colors for him, going to be lined up on the outside in row number 1 in 2nd place. Ryan Salon will line up in 3rd in the number 20 machine, with Brent Bucari lined up in 4th in the 35. And rounding out our field of 5 for heat number 2, Joseph Swan in the number 1 machine. Lined up calm before the storm here. Before we get going for heat number 2. And courtesy again, will Cannon or Clayton Johnson to the 2 favorites in this one for taking the win. Of course, again, 3 extra starting spots ahead is what you get for finishing 1 position ahead of the other in these heats. Oh, and a little bit of a bump from behind from Ryan Swan getting ready to go. Joseph Swan almost jumping to start. Immediately goes the inside 3 wide for 2nd place.
Yeah, Ryan Swan, he was kind of rolling up on Cannon, and it's almost like it was just timed the worst timing possible for Cannon. He went right as Swan hit him in the back bumper, but he got away with the lead point. Now Clayton Johnson's going to settle back in the second and hunt for this race lead. Big dive to the inside, going to slide up on exit in front of Jacob Cannon, and that was already aggressive.
Already aggressive. Oh, contact between both of them, and you can already see he is not willing to play nice with drivers here. He is ready to fight for it. Already damaged to the 93. You gotta watch that right foot. That was heavy contact, but he'll slide back in front of Johnson, and these guys definitely not playing nice early on.
They both fought for the middle in the turn 3 last time. They just came together. Don't think there was any intent there, but definitely aggressive from the start as already 3 laps down. Now Clayton Johnson going to settle back to the bottom while Cannon's going to wind up that high side off of 2, but he just didn't get the run to get back to Clayton Johnson.
Couldn't quite get there. Joseph Swan in behind, fighting with Ryan Swan for position. He will get 3rd place. Ryan Swan back to 4th. Brendan Picari hanging on still in 5th, pending something major happen. But it looks like, I wonder if that damage, it's heavy damage to the front of the 93. I gotta wonder if that is hurting him just a little bit. He's not quite able to get back to the 225.
And Clay Johnson got so low on the track that time, he almost clipped the inside wall. And I think Cannon's trying to wind up that high side. It just isn't quite there. Bottom line still working pretty well. Even Brent Pancari still trying to get that top side wound up. He's fading off of Ryan Swan. And Joseph Swan, pretty good run up to 3rd in this heat so far. As Johnson and Cannon ran similar laps, but that 225 still faster.
Still faster, and as they round out a turn 4, white flag in the air for Clayton Johnson. One more lap to go for him. Kept the lead up pretty nicely in the second half of this race. Set off into the distance. And it looks like as he works his way through 3 and 4, Clayton Johnson will take home the win here in heat number 2. Johnson will take the win with Cannon having to settle for 2nd, Joseph Swan in 3rd, Ryan Swan 4th, Brent Picari in 5th, and a little bit of a tap there, a couple more taps here showing, and a little bit of a hook showing the frustration.
It'll be a long 100 laps.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even gotten to the 100 laps yet, and it's already starting to feel a little bit long. Throwing a couple more drivers into the mix, and oh boy, are we in for something interesting tonight.
Yeah, especially with those two at the front. You add in the 27, you add in the 04. If you even add in the 7, it's going to be interesting for sure. You got a lot of players who can win this feature. And bring out all the stars when you got all the money on the line.
Absolutely a lot on the line in more ways than one. As we line up for the final heat for tonight, Gene Freiberger, 2nd in the points, looking to see if he can get some sort of last dash amount of points to set him up for potentially rebounding a championship run. He'll be lined up on pole for heat number 3. Ryan Zabo in 10th, lined up in 2nd place. Mason Kane will fall behind in 3rd in the 31, but he has a knee wall, so he'll be dropping to the back. Bryce Senizak is going to start in 4th in the 09, with Case Lucatis rounding out our field of 5 in the 13 machine.
Freiberger's Zabo, I would think those would be the two to look at in this heat, see what type of pace they have. But Senizak every now and then will have some decent pace to keep up with the front runners at the beginning of some of these long races.
Yeah, we seem to be a little bit more of a mixed bag. Some races he's pretty decent up near the front, has some parity with them. Other races not so much. So forgot exactly where he ended up placing at Eldora, but see, this could be a new run for him in this race. Maybe get a couple surprise finishes. We'll see how this plays out. Driver getting ready to jump on the gas and get ready to go. There he goes, off and away. Green flag in the air for heat number 3. A great start for the 24. Zabo almost clipping the inside wall, cut it very close on the entry. Will secure 2nd place. Casey Lucatis trying to secure 3rd, with Bryce Senizak now working to his inside.
Mason Kane falling back immediately to 5th. Not a good start to the race for him. And Zabo, like you said, almost clipped that inside wall, but you saw he kind of entered too early because he slid up the racetrack pretty far and lost some time to Freiberger, but a lot better that time through 1 and 2, trying to rip the bottom of the racetrack a touch higher than the 24 Freiberger, but not quite close enough to close in.
Meanwhile, battle for 5th place. Mason Kane working to the bottom. Casey Lucatis, as Senizak's able to get on through. And Lucatis will be stuck on that outside lane, not quite able to make it work like we saw in heat number 1, so he'll fall back to 5th. And it'll be Freiberger and Zabo at the front of the field. Zabo trying to catch up bit by bit.
Yeah, Freiberger kind of left the bottom open there, let Zabot gain a little bit.
Man,
now kind of gets back to the bottom as, once again, Zabot almost flipped that inside wall. Someone's going to hit it, and it's going to cause chaos at some point tonight.
Yeah, one wrong bouncer, you just line up a little bit off, and you're going to get some damage. You see Freiberger going even lower to cut him off, cut that line off. He knows that 10 likes that inside lane, so he's going to block it. He's going to use it for himself. Who runs a little bit wide in turn 2, but no harm, no foul.
You're trying to get so low, you might think it's a limbo competition, but no, this is racing at Eldora. It's only 2 more laps. They're still bumper to bumper. Senesek up to 3rd. Kane's gotten back to 4th. It's now Glakatis back to the 5th position, as that time Zabot tried a little bit of a higher line. Didn't work. Contact between Senesek and Mason Kane there. So now there's a little damage to that 31 car.
A little bit of damage, but a spot gain. Senezak not done yet. We'll try to rebound here. Final lap, a white flag in the air for the leaders and for this battle for 3rd place. Side up by side for both of them. Meanwhile, at the front, Jaden Freiberger will be sliding ahead of Zabot. He will take the win in Heat 3 and across the line. Oh, a drag race. And only Mason, no, Bryce Senezak, it changed last second for us at the line by a couple thousandths of a second. Oh, boy.
I thought it was Senesek at the line. It was just incredibly tight. Perfectly timed sled job there. Senesek just had enough momentum to get that 31 at the line. That could have been the finish for the main event after 100 laps. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll take a look actually at a replay and see how close that finish was. It definitely deserves another look as it came to the line.
It was darn close.
And here's a look at it. Coming to the line, Mason Kane, a fantastic run off the corner, and just not quite enough by a nose. So Senezak that got him.
And it could be the finish. I mean, there was everything clean about that battle. I mean, Kane trying to wind up the top side. Senesek figured if he could just get a decent enough run around the bottom at 3 and 4, he could get to the line before for that 3rd position, and it almost came down to thousandths of a second. Came down to about 13 thousandths of a second, actually, but just over 100th of a second. And we're going to see a lot of that tonight after 100 laps or more. It's never about green-white checkers. It's going to be an interesting one tonight, as now the night's going to settle in, which means the stakes are going to get higher, the wrecks are going to get bigger, as you can see in turn 4 there. But the track will get cooler, but won't change too much.
You can still see, it's just shy of 8 p.m. Those can't read me up military time. Just shy of 8 p.m. Sun coming down, sun coming to set. And before we get these guys turned out loose here for 100 laps at Eldora, and we talked about it several times across the season, especially in these longer races, tire saving. And when it comes to tire saving, there's almost no driver in this series better at saving tire than 27 here, Travis Beckner.
We've seen it all season from Beckner. I mean, he's been able to do everything. He's had the raw pace on the short run. He's able to keep the tires on the long run. He has had a few issues with lap traffic here and there, but for the most part, he's very good at picking his way methodically through traffic when that opportunity arises, and when he has to get through there to get away from someone. If he starts at the back of the field, he can usually get through them. Maybe sometimes not without contact, but most of the times you'll find that 27 at the front, whether he starts first or 21st. He's going to have to battle that guy tonight, Jacob Cannon, who knows how they'll race each other, who knows how Cannon will race Beckner in particular after last week, like we said. I mean, Cannon's been hit by a lot of different drivers, but it seems like Beckner's from last week might be the one that kind of puts him over the edge a little bit. And he's overdue for a victory for sure. And Clayton Johnson, he's always fast when he shows up, not on a full-time basis, not in championship competition anymore, but he'll rough someone out of the way, let Brett Bunkary. That's because Bunkary's driving an Audi actually tonight. But that 225 is going to be fast, and he's going to be rough. You know, with all due respect to Clayton Johnson, you know he's going to make contact with someone. And Freiberger, winner in our last 100-lap feature, or should I say in our last feature, which was 80 laps, he could go back-to-back in features, as you don't want to rejoin the track like that, but no. Those are really 4 guys you're going to look at to compete tonight. And I don't know, rambling a little bit, and I don't know, we do see him on track, but about this guy, I'll give you this one, because he's back, and we know he's fast too.
He's back and he's fast. Only one win with his name, but we have seen him perform very well in the earlier part of the season when he did compete on a regular basis. It's been a while since we've seen him back on the racetrack, but already quick, at least in practice, up inside the top 5. Ironic, all 5 of them, the drivers that we're looking at, all 5 of them in the top 5. Oh, a massive crash on the front straight. Hopefully you don't see something crazy like that. But really, I would say those 5 drivers are definitely going to be your ones to watch for tonight. We've seen almost all of them, I think, in victory circle, save for Jacob Cannon, who had a later start to the season than the rest of them. But they've all been in the front of the series in one way, shape, or form. And I want to find out where Jake Witherspoon has not taken to the track. He can be another one as well. Add him, make it 6 even. Those 6 drivers, I say that's where your winning pool is going to be coming from, unless something absolutely crazy happens, which it definitely can.
I was going to say the same thing. If one of those 6 don't go to victory lane, I wouldn't be surprised if all 6 of them took each other out. It would definitely be a little bit of an upset if one of those 6 didn't take the victory. But, you know, Ryan Zabo showed some decent pace this season as well. You can't fully count him out, although maybe not the pace that Beckner has, but something happens. He'd be right there waiting in the wings. We've seen Senesac have some decent runs. Casey Borgmeyer has had some decent runs as well. There's still a number of drivers who could steal one tonight if things happen, which we're kind of expecting things to happen.
We're expecting things to happen, things to go awry, and as warm-up is coming to an end, we'll get ready to roll here for the Cyberspace 100 here at Eldora. 100 laps will be on the board, $165 in the pot, double points for the drivers as well for their trouble. And we'll see, you know, at the end of it all, how much of a potential bloodbath we might have on our hands. Something tells me the admins in the admin tower might be a little bit busy tonight.
We'll just have to wait and see. With all the players we have at the front, the Cyberspace 100 could be pretty busy with the drivers just tearing sheet metal off their cars. Trying to keep the fenders on these cars might not be important to a lot of drivers tonight, but it should be entertaining for us.
Definitely be entertaining here as the drivers get lined up and ready to go. Taking one last look at the weather here. Now just a little bit past 8:10 in the evening into the night. Air temp 74, track temp 68. As cool as it's probably going to get. Slight humidity in the air. But boys, are going to be hot on the racetrack. 16 drivers lined up and ready to go for what should be an absolute brawl for 100 laps. I imagine these guys are going to be very tired after this race is done.
Yeah, this is going to be a high-speed racetrack, too. I mean, this track will wear out. It will slow down, but for the most part, Eldora is still a track where the speeds are going to be pretty high, 15-second laps. I mean, you're almost certainly never going to really be under 90 miles an hour at a track like this.
Field lined up and rolling onto the racetrack. And we saw Travis Beckner secure his spot starting on pole. Again, he got his 8th pole of the season. He's starting in first place. And really, the first 5 drivers, Beckner, Johnson, Freiberger, Witherspoon, Cannon, is a really, really great running order. Dalton King going to be starting all the way back in 16th due to not running in the heats. So he's going to have his work cut out for him tonight.
He should be the one to watch coming through the field. It seems like every time this season someone started at the back, it's usually Clayton Johnson starting at the back, and we've had to see him come through the field in a short amount of time. In the 50-lap races, it will be Dalton Kane this time, and his first time racing a lot of these guys in, about 2 months, so it might be a little bit of a learning experience for him to get back through these guys.
Definitely think it'll be a learning experience for him. See how things play out. See how they line up. Beckner leaving a little bit of a gap here as pace truck rolls its way through 3 and 4. Beckner will have control of the field as we get ready to roll. 100 laps on the board, and off and away we go. The 4th crown jewel of the season, the Cyberspace 100 at Eldora, is underway. Immediately out of turn 4, it'll be Clayton Johnson able to take the lead away from Travis Beckner, and he's going to try to set off into the distance.
I wonder if Beckner's saving his stuff. You can tell he's a lot slower down the straightaways than Freiberger, and I gotta believe he's not even going full throttle down the straightaways. Could not matter, might matter. We'll have to wait and see after about 30, 40 laps what everyone's tires are doing, but no doubt Clayton Johnson wants to get the lead. He wants to get away, and he's doing just that.
Ryan Zabot trying to make some moves up here. Was trying to see if he can get around Jacob Cannon. Can't quite get there. Bryce Senizak on the move early on. Already plus 3 spots, or it was almost plus 3 spots as he's in a fight with David Weishart trying to secure that spot. But you can see a lot of drivers not fully forcing the issue here, not fully getting the back end out, because again, that's a big thing we want to talk about. Those the tire savings. Gotta keep your stuff going because you're not changing tires on these things.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, you can save tires at a an asphalt racetrack and then come in for a set of tires. If a yellow flies, it doesn't matter. You don't get that change of tires, so saving those tires are going to matter over 100 laps. You're probably not going to want to go full send on your set, probably until the last quarter of the race possibly, and then you'll start using your stuff up. But right now, a lot of drivers trying to keep it nice at the bottom of the racetrack, not kick that right rear out. Like you're seeing Beckner try to not get the car too kicked out. Really everyone in the field doing that, but that last quarter of the race, you'll see everyone ripping. You'll see all sorts of lanes being used.
Yeah, we've seen, I think it was at Lucas Oil Speedway, Travis Beckner was getting lapped. That's how much tire he was saving at a track like that. So he's willing to throw positions away. For him, it's all about bigger picture. Cautions may come here and there. He's not too concerned, but as long as he stays relatively close to the front of the field, he's going to be a happy camper. That's what gets me a little bit worried with Clayton Johnson's pace. He doesn't look like he's necessarily pushing, but being that front driver, of course, you are kind of setting the pace for the field. But at the same time, everyone else behind you, you don't know how far they're pushing. I know David Weishart, he might be pushing a little bit here.
I think it would not be surprised if he's pushing a little bit, but it almost seemed like Clayton Johnson pushed hard to try to get the race lead and mainly get the track position over guys like Beckner, Jacob Cannon. He's definitely backed it down a touch since getting the race lead away, and I definitely think, like you said, why start pushing his stuff a little bit, and why not? He doesn't get too many chances to lead races with all the stars we have, and he's not a guy who does dirt, as his main thing. I mean, he's an asphalt driver by trade, as most of these drivers do mainly dirt, as he and Clayton Johnson almost had contact, but why start showing some real pace regardless?
Showing Casey Borgmeyer slowly working his way up the order. David Weishart using the chance to punch the gas, and I think we'll actually lead at the line. So he'll have led that lap.
This is like the 550 package of NASCAR. I mean, everyone's packed up on each other. You're not really seeing the field get spread out. The only driver really kind of off the pace is Kane, Swan, and Punkeri, which may be a little surprised to see Dalton Kane not moving up. He could also be saving his stuff, but he's only moved up to 14.
You can
Beckner's kind of in his own line.
Yeah, you can look at some of the lap times here. Best lap for Beckner, 15.7, now down to a 16.1. And if you can even check the times that they're running the heats, I'm sure that's even slower than that.
We'll talk about their qualifying times. Yes, the track is going to cool down, but they were in the 14-second bracket in qualifying, so they're almost a full second off that at this point in the race.
Casey Borgmeyer using the chance. He wants to get to the front, so seeing a bit of a game of leapfrog up near the front of the order as Casey Borgmeyer now moves up to second place. And Travis Beckner, it looks like Mason Kane will get around him, demote him to 8th place. Taking a look at Dalton Kane, has not made a whole lot of forward progress, but again, you can argue big term picture here because he really cannot afford to use up all his stuff starting so far back.
Yeah, that's the issue with him. He can't use his stuff up, or else he'll start fading back to where he started. But also, it's going to be tough near the end of the race, or as this race goes on. Even with drivers' tires wearing, it's going to get tough to pass as this track gets worn down. We're already seeing drivers kind of abandon the bottom of the racetrack, kind of running the middle of the racetrack. So his options are going to be limited by the time he starts pushing his stuff. That's something he has to pay attention to as well.
Fine line of when to go and when to wait. We'll see when that time will come. Brent Picari looks like he is pushing the envelope on the outside lane. Probably one of the furthest drivers you've seen out there. He's really hanging out there in that Audi. Weird as that is to say.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense at all. We got a Mustang at the front. I guess that makes more sense. Mason Kane just got his way up into the 3rd position. He's another one who seems to be kind of just letting his car go to the front as fast as he possibly can. But Kerry, really, like you said, the only one kind of flirting with the high side. I wouldn't say he's flirting with it. He's running it. He's pretty much wall riding at this point, as you're starting to see those guys who started near the back kind of using their stuff up. I mean, David Weishart has a pretty commanding lead right now, all the way up to 1 second. Then it's Borgmeyer, and then it's another second to Mason Kane, and then there's the rest of the field led by Clayton Johnson.
Yeah, go for the wide shot here, and you can see there how much the lead. There's the gap amongst the top 3, top 4, very, very separated. And I think Clayton Johnson, he knows. I mean, this is actually a little bit better for him. Now he's not really the one pushing so much. So he knows he'll catch back up to these guys later on. And then you got Jacob Cannon, kind of the cork in the bottle at the moment. No one really wants to get around the 93. Everyone's kind of stopped him behind. This really does look like a pack race, the way they are driving around here.
You'd almost think it's like, you know, kind of the rookie cars that are just full throttle around the
dirt street stock.
Dirt street stock, or I guess I'm trying to think of the word for it, or like a quarter midget, something like that, just full throttle, full send. But not the case, as you're starting to see Clayton Johnson go to the top side, but he's still not even pushing his stuff. He's going to let Cannon get around him. Here's Casey Licata's up into the top 5 out of nowhere. He started all the way back in 15th. Ooh, this is a mess. I don't know what else to call it.
This is a big mess.
I would say I'd almost rather be the top 3. I don't want to be a part of this. I
do
not want to be packed up on everyone. Look at this.
Dalton Kane was almost in the inside 4 wide for a second. Is still 3 wide. Almost hit the wall. I think he had to back off.
Oh, Zabot got a tap from Jacob Bell. They stacked up. That's why I'd rather not be in this. I almost like where Casey Borgmeyer is, or just be at the front of it like Jacob Cannon is. I don't want to be all packed up. It puts you in a situation where you're going to be in a mess at some point.
Interesting sort of stuff here. The tire saving going on as we're a quarter way through this thing. We're not going to be racing for a whole lot longer. 20 more minutes should things go green all the way. Ooh, we see Jacob Cannon there trying to block a little bit of Brent Bakari's progress, and I don't think he'll be able to do it this time. There goes the 35, and I think Jacob Cannon's going to say, yeah, you can have that. I'll hang out here where I am. I'm comfortable in 5th place at the moment because it's all bigger picture here. He's ahead, really, of, I think, his main competitors. Travis Beckner, Jake Freiberg, Dalton Kane, and Clayton Johnson all in behind. So, and actually, they're all right next to each other, ironically.
You talk about tire saving. Jake Witherspoon, unless I'm mistaken, he might be doing it at the extreme. He's fallen all the way back to 16th position. He's dead last on track.
I was going to say, I was wondering where on earth he went. And there's the answer to that question. Yeah, I think this could be good, could be bad. At the very least, I think this is kind of smart in a way because he is leaving a bit of a buffer. So should some calamitous event happen near the front in his main pack, he's got a little bit of a buffer distance to avoid anything. And I think he senses there will be a caution at some point, and he doesn't want to be involved in it.
Just got to hope you're not the yellow, but you also got to hope you don't save so much tire you might get lapped. I mean, the leaders are in turn 2, and he's still just out of turn number 4, so that's something you got to be careful of as well.
Racing here for the lead.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing.
Mason Kane, David Weiser.
What is this? Richard Childress Racing? It's like Jeff Burton's singular wireless car. You got Kevin Harvick's Pennzoil car. It's perfect. They don't care about the tires. They care about leading this thing. Kane came from pretty far back to catch Weishart for this lead. He's got it.
Honestly, if I'm them, I don't blame him. Might as well have a little bit of fun with it. Fight for the lead. With how competitive this series is, you don't really get to fight that much if you're running in the midfield a lot. It's so hard to find that place forward, so might as well enjoy it while you can. Brent Bakari has got past Casey Borgmeyer for 3rd place. So Borgmeyer back to 4th, Licata's in 5th. And just look at the top 5. Can you imagine if things finished out this way? You would look at it and wonder what on earth happened in this race. But
I think it's raining. I think it's raining. We might need to throw it. It reminds me of Dave Blaney leading the 500, which is funny because I think he was in an Ollie's car when he was leading the 500. And Weishart's in an Ollie's car himself, but now he's back to 2nd. But you can definitely see the gap between the guys pushing already and the guys not. I think those top 5 definitely pushing their stuff. Even Jacob Cannon maybe going a little harder than he wants to just to keep track position. Everyone else back there doesn't seem like they're really going yet, except maybe Ryan Swan, who's up to that 7th position, got by Clayton Johnson, who really decided to back his pace down after leading for a lot of laps.
Yeah, Jacob Cannon looks like he's pushing a little bit more, just a fraction faster. Looks like he's trying to break away, but Ryan Swan, really, you can see a lot more aggressive in his run. He's getting these great runs off the corner, and I think he's looking to pass the 93. He will do so to the inside of turn 1. Cannon saying, go ahead, be my guest. And Swan up to 6th in that regard. Then we got Cannon, Johnson, Beckner, Freiberger, Dalton Kane, all from 7th to 12th, all nose to tail with each other. And again, these are the 6 drivers I would highlight and circle. Those are the ones you want to keep an eye out for. So if I was anyone else, I would kind of want to hang out with them. This is a good company to be with in some ways.
I just want to try to get out from behind someone because they're so bumper to bumper, especially on the entry to these corners. I can't imagine there's not going to be checkups entering some of these corners. That's probably why you're seeing some tight 3 wide. Witherspoon and Dalton Kane rubbing doors out of turn number 2. That's what you don't want to see happen when you're pushing your stuff. If those guys pushing their stuff, if it still goes green, they might not be in a horrible spot, but Witherspoon chopped the nose of the 787. But I think some of these guys may be a little impatient. They don't want to wait in line, but if you wait in line, you're seeing so much stacking up, especially behind Beckner, is where a lot of it's happening as well. Maybe even Clayton Johnson.
Yeah, and Witherspoon, it looks like his favorite lane, the top lane, has been kind of occupied. We've been talking about the drivers moving slowly and slowly up the track as the inside lane gets moved on. Now they're running the outside middle lane, so there's really one lane left. Oh, you can see Witherspoon, he's caught the wall there, trying to get around. He's getting a little bit frustrated behind Dalton Kane. We saw a couple taps here and there because I think he's ready to push forward. The other drivers ahead of him not quite ready to push forward, and finally gets a move on Dalton Kane, but he gets stopped by Freiberger now ahead of him.
One thing about this, these drivers running a little bit of a slower pace. That means this track's going to wear out maybe a little bit slower to where we're not going to see drivers just painting the outside wall a different color by the end of this one, as they nearly went 4 wide there, splitting, I believe, Freiberger that time. But that's one, I think, factor of this, is that this track isn't wearing out as fast, but it is definitely starting to wear. You can see it on the entries to the corners at the way top, especially, and a little bit on the bottom.
Right and more with Dalton Kane. He's got a great view of this. So you see as Witherspoon makes some door-to-door contact with Travis Beckner as he navigates this really, really competitive pack in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Witherspoon wants to go.
Yeah, he wants to go, and he saw an aggressive cut there off the nose of Travis Beckner, slides in front of Clayton Johnson, and he is off and away. Does anyone else decide to go with him? It looks like a couple drivers are starting to fight back. I think they know he's a quick driver, so they want to stick with him.
Johnson and Beckner hit a little bit there, but you could definitely see Witherspoon turn the switch up to on. He's going to try to chase down Jacob Cannon. He was not that much faster last time by the Jacob Cannon. Just saw Ryan Swan take 5th from Casey Borgmeyer. And, you know, saving tires matters. I get that. If this, on the off chance it goes green, if it goes green, those guys saving tires like Beckner, Cannon, Clayton Johnson, they're 12 seconds back. It's a lot of ground to make up, and we're about halfway.
We're about halfway. Taking a look at Travis Beckner in the midfield. See the focus in his eyes. It's a lot to manage. You got to maintain your pace. You got to maintain your position in this little queue that's kind of building up here in the middle of the field. Oh, and you see a little bit of a checkup there as well, as they're all just trying to figure out where they want to be in line. But again, at some point, you got to question, when is the time to go? We see Jake Witherspoon. He's gone and gone.
I would say if you look at this pack and then look right behind the pack, the leader is coming up on them. And at some point, if that leader gets to your bumper, you got to start going. I mean, you see Jacob Cannon there, there's Witherspoon, there's the rest of the field, and there's Mason Kane, the race leader.
Yep.
And he's
so
still
leader,
lapping faster than them.
Leader, then it's Weishart, Brent Benkari, Case Lakatos in 4th, Ryan Swan all the way back in 5th, an even bigger gap. There's Borgmeyer, and then there's Cannon, Witherspoon, and then the main pack right there. So they are in danger of getting put a lap down.
And no luck dogs. I mean, your race is kind of over if you get lapped. You cannot afford this to happen. So Jacob Bell is in a lot of trouble right now because, like I said, that 31 still got some decent pace. And I think now you're starting to see those guys realize, gosh, that's the leader. I got to go.
Keep an eye on those relative boys, because now is the time to go. And it does look like there's some hurry in some of these drivers, but they're not fully pushing quite just yet. These guys up here have a little bit of a buffer to the leader in behind. So they can wait a little bit to go, but Jacob Bell is probably like, oh, I really need to go because I'm his next target.
Well, one thing that might, if Mason Kane can't get by these guys easily, if any of them hold him up, that could bring Weishart back into it. Right now, Brent Lakatos just got 5 Punkari for 3rd, so that's another position done. But getting lapped is kind of race over, so you're going to have to fight him as hard as you can.
Cue the Jaws music, because he is encircling about 7 to 8 drivers here in this little group who have still not fully kicked it on into high gear. Clayton Johnson is leading this little group, then Borgmeyer, Witherspoon. And Witherspoon catching up to Cannon just a little bit. He's actually, I want to say, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack at the moment.
He was a lot faster than Mason Kane last time by, and the first person I've really started to see fade after pushing is Borgmeyer. I mean, he's starting to run some pretty slow laps. I think he's going to be in a lot of trouble here in a little bit.
Yeah, Beckner actually was one of the faster drivers last lap, although looks like him and Clayton Johnson are trading blows. Maybe not exactly the best time to start trading blows, but they will start to push forward. And now we're seeing the times go back down to the low 16s.
I think everyone in that pack realized, gosh, that 31's leading the race, and they pulled away from him besides Jacob Bell. Every single one of those guys pulled that 31, except the 77.
Yeah, building there to the back to the leader. There's Borgmeyer you mentioned struggling a little bit. Was with Cannon now kind of falling off. And actually, speaking of which, Cannon now under attack by Jake Witherspoon, who's trying to move up to the order. He's feeling now's the time to go. And we were past halfway. We're getting close to 40 laps to go. We're within a normal VDRA race distance at 50 laps. So the time's a ticking.
I mean, if it does go green by chance, they have so much ground to make up on Mason Kane. And even not to him, they're still 5, 6, 7 seconds behind Swan, who's in 5th. And if they don't get that yellow that they might be betting on saving these tires, I don't know if they get there.
Yeah, this might be a case of they might have played it a little bit too hesitant for a lot of these drivers. And these drivers in the top 5, well, they may not exactly stay there. They're looking at a pretty solid finishing position because this is Brent Pincari. He's got 5 seconds back to Jacob Cannon, who's in the midst of a fight here with Jake Witherspoon because I'm sure he doesn't want to let the 0-4 get ahead of him. But actually, they're now starting to get caught up. Here comes Clayton Johnson and a couple others. They catch up to Borgmeyer. They're now really starting to push.
Yeah, I think they definitely, I mean, under 40 to go, I think you got to start pushing them at some point. I think even the last quarter, like I was mentioning, might be a little too early with the gap those guys who pushed have built up. Mason Kane, he has not passed anyone at this point. Everyone's still a lead lap. He cannot get around Joseph Swan or Jacob Bell, actually allowing Lakatos to pull in a little bit closer every lap as Witherspoon kind of made a mistake trying to pass Jacob Cannon there.
A little bit of a bump backed off of it. I think trying to show that that wasn't on purpose. Trying to be a little bit friendly here, pass him when he can. One driver maybe a lot less friendly is Clayton Johnson back here because he's looking like he's starting to be a man on a mission. He's ready to go. It's crunch time, and he's not waiting for anyone.
As we finally have a driver lap down, it's unfortunately Joseph Swan. Mason Kane finally got by him, but that 77 still giving him trouble. And we're starting to see that 13 close in the gap a little bit. Really, we're going to have to look at the gap to Jacob Cannon. It's now under 10 seconds. He's going to need a lot of time per lap. 9 seconds, 30 laps. Not impossible, especially with how far we've seen Casey Borgmeyer fall off. He's fallen back to 13th, really struggling with the tires on the 101. So not impossible for Cannon, but got to go at some point. And he's definitely the first one to really push. And he's got about 1 second, 1.5 seconds on the other guys who he might have to battle with, like Clayton Johnson, Travis Beckner.
Yeah, delta for laps between them two, as far as lap times are concerned, it was 16.3 last time by to a 16.6. So it's roughly 0.3 faster a lap. That's doable, but he's really got to push and hope that he can get around everyone.
And that's right on the number. I mean, 0.3 and 30 laps, that's about 9 seconds. So he'd get there pretty much on the final lap.
Well,
so
we always say catching is one thing, passing is another, and he's got a couple cars to pass on the way there forward. So I think the couple cars that decided to jump ahead was he almost dive by Jake Witherspoon there, trying to make an attempt, didn't really work. But as he's got to pass a couple of these guys like Pincari, Swan, Weissart on the way forward, he might have his hands a little busy. Whoa, as Pincari gets into trouble, gets into the wall. Oh, this could be caution here. That right front is destroyed. He's trying to stay out of the way, keep the car going forward. I kind of really would love this thing to stay green if we could, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get that thing down to pit lane.
I mean, you know, what I was about to say is that the preferred lane right now is that top side, so it's tough for everyone else that he's taking up that lane. And even with him getting even if he can get the pit lane here,
he can't. I don't think that thing is turning left. He's trying to keep this thing going. Unfortunately, he's running out of chances for him to go down. There he goes. Finally makes the left.
Yeah, but even with that right front tire broken, him just trying to get into pit lane with that might bring out a yellow.
And we'll
that's
see.
What I worry about.
We'll see how it is as we look here, battling behind Clayton Johnson, Jake Witherspoon. Clayton Johnson actually got around Jake Witherspoon as we were looking at Brent Pincari trying to bring that thing down to pit lane. As Travis Beckner now works the inside of Witherspoon, and I'm sure a lot of these guys are concerned.
He's in the barrels.
And the caution is out. Oh boy!
I mean, there's nothing he could do. I mean, it's either that or Alt F4, and you don't want Alt F4. But all those guys who are pushing their stuff are in a pretty poor spot now.
And this is Brent Pincari trying to make it down into the pits, and yeah, that is an impossible turn to make. even in a regular car, let alone a late model that's designed to slide to the right and slide turning left. And yeah, just no way he can make it. He gave it his best opportunity. Unfortunately, yellow flag is flown after nearly 74 laps of green competition.
You can't really blame Punker. I mean, in my opinion, the yellow just shouldn't trigger there. When you have the right front that can brake so easily, I don't see how else you're supposed to get in the pit lane. You can't just force them to alt F4. But you know, it's just a circumstantial thing. And I feel bad for the guys at the front, Mason Kane, Lakatis, Weishart. I mean, they were in a great spot to get good finishes, but now got to restart. Obviously, caution laps don't count, so you got about 26 laps, and you got extra worn tires. It's going to be tough for them to stay up there.
Yeah, I think they're kind of slamming their fists like, oh, damn. It was looking very much in their favor. Should have had that caution not come out. But things still could change. We'll see. It's not all said done quite just yet. Taking a look at the order as we get ready to go for the restart here. Mason Kane, your leader. Casey Lakatis in second place. David Weishart third. Ryan Swan in fourth. And then the hungry Hornets Nest in behind him. Jacob Cannon, Clayton Johnson, Jake Witherspoon, Travis Beckner, Ryan Zabot, Gene Freiberger, all in behind. Throw Dalton Kane in the mix as well. Your top 10 and 11 drivers as the pace truck pulls off again. Quick caution, back to action here at Eldora. We're back green after the first caution slowing us down. Who will be the winner here in the closing stage of this race? Immediately a big dive to the inside from Jacob Cannon trying to make up position. Look at that, almost 5 wide in behind.
Ryan Swan got the wall pretty good, but didn't look like it broke anything. I don't think that bottom line's just viable right now. Kane's going to keep the lead. Cannon and Clayton Johnson still got work to do. Clayton Johnson, big dive. He boots Mason Kane at a turn number 2, 3 wide for the lead.
Cut off the corner there. He's wasting no time to get to the front. Slides in front of the 31, will park the bus. He actually hits the wall. Can he keep it going? He will. He will secure the lead. Jacob Cannon, I thought he would have been the one to first get there. He will not. He will throw a move on the 31, hold him up, push him back to third.
I'm sure if Kane could have done something about Clayton Johnson there, he would have. That was a pretty big door bang from the 225, but after all that tire saving, one yellow changed the game for that 225, and I think he saved this stuff the best.
And look at this. He came from way far back here. He was all the way back here in the middle of this gigantic mess. Then coming forward here, made a big move on Lakatis, and there's the move right there. It hits the 31. And that's what got him that leading spot. Now, question is, can he hold it? Can he keep it going in that lead spot with Jacob Cannon and Travis Beckner now starting to breathe down his neck?
Kane's still in fourth, would still be a good run for him, but Cannon actually is pretty happy with the tactics from Johnson. And I think Cannon, like we kind of saw happening, I think he pushed his stuff early. I don't think he has what the other two have right now, as Beckner is going to get that second spot, but kind of tap the wall. Cannon's going to slide him right back for that spot, and now they're just going to let that 225 get away for the time being.
Yeah, fighting amongst themselves. There is some money online all the way back to 5th position. So that's in the cards for them at the very least. And
crash.
Cannon. Oh, crash in the background. I can see it. Oh, somewhat of a crash. Mason Kane. Oh, no. And what could have been a win for him, he's going to be in the wall. Lost a tire. Caution will fly once more. And that's got to be very frustrating.
I think 4th place might be Witherspoon. Let's see this. That looks like a slide job.
Yeah.
And just nowhere for Dalton Kane gets some damage, nowhere for him to go. And Kane right front completely sheared off the car. I mean, you pull that slide job, you got to at least clear. I mean, that was not even relatively close.
Yeah, I think another couple of penalty points coming Witherspoon's way. There's the slide, and unfortunately didn't quite get there ahead of the 31 cleanly, so that's going to end Mason Kane's day. It was looking like he might have been able to take home a surprise win. We talked about it as a chance, but that caution made things fall as expected. And now it's Johnson, Beckner, Jacob Cannon, Witherspoon, your top 4, Freiberger, your top 5, and Dalton Kane 6. And look at that, cream to the top, somehow, some way, will rise to the top.
Yeah, probably not done yet.
Far from
each
over.
other. But I just see how much racing they can do. I mean, we saw even on that last run, unless you're pulling a slide job from pretty far back, there's not much left if you're not on the. There's not much left of the track if you're not on the outside wall, scrubbing the Eldora red paint off the wall. I mean, that cushion's going to get a little bit bigger by the time we're done. There's just not much. It looks like a lot of room for racing, but realistically, you're not going to see a lot of drivers venturing off that wall.
Yeah, it's just not a lot of grip. That's the big concern. A lot of racetrack, not a lot of it has grip, and you can see how glassed up it is. I'm not sure what the official term is. I'm just going to use that. Heading off, glossy. Yeah, how glossy it is there, and that's old dirt that's compacted down. There's next to no grip there, and you can see it a little bit more on the entry there. You can see all where it's brown. That's just all compacted dirt. Not a lot of grip there. You got to go all the way up on the top or all the way down on the bottom if you want the good stuff to get your car to rotate. Speaking of which, Clayton Johnson already on the rotation, off and away, almost hits the pace truck, getting away from the rest of the field. Jaden Freiberger, big dive to the inside, trying to take second place.
Couldn't quite make it work. Beckner, that puts him in a bad spot, having to go up as there's contact, 24 to 93. Johnson gets away with the lead again. This battle once again for second. Now Freiberger trying to get to the outside, 3 wide. He got pinched into the outside wall. I don't think either of the two on his inside thought he'd be there. And the 93 kind of put Beckner in the wall, and he's wrecked. There they go.
And Travis Beckner around, and Jacob Cannon around as well. And both of them frustrated and annoyed. And that's going to end, effectively, both of their nights.
Yeah, you kind of saw that coming. We kind of imagined that could happen.
Yeah, at some point it was going to boil over. Just wondering when, and here it was. There's contact with this 27 to 93. Door each other once, door each other twice. And around they both went.
Kansas get his car to pit lane, try to salvage a finish. Kind of starts right here. 24 gets a great run to the outside. He just a little late to really be given the lane, I think, so no harm, no foul there. And 93 and 27, they kind of hooked together. I don't think there's much malicious there other than just racing each other a little bit too hard. I don't think the 93 means to come up on the 27. I don't think right here the 27 means to put the 93 in the wall, but there's just not enough room for how tight they were racing.
Unfortunately, not the way they would have liked it to go, but the way it ended up being. And here's another look from Jim Fire's point of view. Try to fit the outside lane, nothing quite there.
I'll tell you what, he got fortunate he kept the right front on it there, though.
And it's happening right in front of, look at that evasive maneuvering to get out of that.
I'm wondering where that's going to put him. He might end up second, actually, in this deal.
I think
he will.
Yeah.
And Cannon back on the track. He'll get what he can out of this day.
And then there were 4. Cannon, Johnson, Freiberger, Witherspoon.
Dalton Kane, all of a sudden.
Johnson, Freiberger, Witherspoon, Kane. Cannon is still scored there on the scoring pile and up ahead.
You got really 3 loose cannons and then Freiberger.
We'll say, though, Jacob Cannon, he's back on the racetrack. And so is Travis Beckner. Whoa. We'll see how this plays out. Green flag back in the air. Clayton Johnson trying to scamper away from the rest of the field once more. Jake Witherspoon, big dive to the inside, see if he can get something. Dalton Kane makes contact with Witherspoon there.
Witherspoon kind of came up a little bit. Once again, you can see on this restart, trying to plant that right rear on the wall with Freiberger kind of struggling doing it. Jacob Cannon got booted by Joseph Swan at the back, and there's not going to be a yellow for that.
Not going to be yellow. We remain green. We'll see how long we'll stay that way as some more sparring occurs in the background. So Bryce Senizak make contact with Ryan Swan. Ryan Zabo also up there in the mix. He's been awfully quiet. We talked about him earlier. Might have a chance, might not. But he's ready to pounce should these leaders make a mistake.
Don't count Beckner out yet. He's back up to about the 6th position. Just slid Ryan Swan for that spot. And they're all stacked up second on back behind Freiberger. You just cannot keep up with that 225.
Oh, and there's Witherspoon parked it out of turn 4. Zabo taking advantage. Big dive to the inside will block the 0-4 on the exit. Can't quite get there. He gets himself in the wall. Has to pull off.
He didn't break the right front somehow. Got away with it as Beckner going to try to get that spot. The outside's open for him in that 5th position. At least trying to get that 5th position. Freiberger going a little lower, trying the middle line, trying to find some grip because he's really struggling. He cannot run the wall like he needs to, so he's trying something different.
Trying something different, trying to see if he can make something work, make up some sort of spots. Will die to the inside once more on Zabo. Slides up in front and will just about secure the spot. Not quite.
Yeah, Zabo's going to throw one back at him, but...
Oh, and how about this? Second win from Freiberger. I thought this might have been decided here up at the front, but he's caught back up to Clayton Johnson. He knows with Beckner in behind him. This is, again, points are still very much in Beckner's favor, but something... Uh-oh, did I just jinx him? Oh, no, tell me he did not lose. He's back. Chain Fiber is back on the track. Lost connection for just a second there. I'm not sure that tripped him up a little bit, but a win for him right now will be fantastic over the 27.
Yeah, the lap before, he gained a lot of time, firing it into the middle of turn number 3. The last time by, couldn't see what happened, but he lost some time for sure. But just banging that right side door off the outside wall is the line right now, and they only have 8 more laps aside it, and the caution's out. It's for Joseph Swan.
And he's reset down to pit lane. We'll see, take a look what happened on the replay. Oh, did he have this revenge with Jacob Cannon we saw? Oh, yeah.
Okay, I mean...
Huh. I didn't quite catch what happened to them earlier. I'll try to find out.
Cannon must have gotten back to him and repaid the favor.
So this is what happened initially. So there's contact entering the corner right there, and then did Cannon come back down? Oh no, he actually was Joseph Swan that tried to get back in him earlier. But I'm not sure what started this really, because I don't remember seeing these guys around each other all race long.
Also, Jake Witherspoon was 4th. All of a sudden, he's lining up in about 7th or 8th. And I don't know what happened to that.
Yeah, what did happen to that? That's odd. What is going on?
Must have had an issue after the yellow came out or something.
Take a look at the replay and see. So, oh, he got spun around somehow. Oh, I wonder if when the caution came out, oh no, he just, huh?
I don't know. He locked up the brakes or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can find someone that was near him. So, you know, I wonder, was he the caution actually, and was that just a coincidental timing?
I'm not trying to look at the timing of the pace car. No, the lights are on. He definitely was not the yellow.
I guess maybe just try to slow it down, and well, if you are the caution or involved in caution or slowing off the pace, you lose those.
Oh, you know what it was? You know what it was? He was coming up on Joseph Swan, and he stopped.
Oh no!
He had to stop, and then he reset, and it looked like he stopped for no reason. He was trying to avoid Joseph Swan, and it was just horrible timing. Single file restarts, by the way, but that's a tough break. There's nothing he could do there.
Nothing you can do. We're getting ready for the end of this thing here. Coming to the under 10 laps to go. Single file restart. Johnson, Freiberg, Kane, Beckner, Zabot, your new top 5. Off and away we'll go. Does Freiberg have anything left? We saw a bit of a second win. Does he have a third win in store? Trying to get back to Clayton Johnson, see if he can take this one.
Does Dalton Kane or Beckner, can they do anything to get that second spot without having to battle Freiberger for multiple laps? Johnson hit the wall pretty good there. Gave Freiberger maybe an opening to the bottom, but able to power off on turn 4, 6 to go.
6 laps to go. Freiberger, Kane, all single file. And how about Beckner? What a recovery for him. Up to 4th place. Might make it a podium. It's on the end of this thing. Whoa, is it Jake Witherspoon come flying from way far back, parks it on the exit, will try to take 5th. Moves back to 6th with Zabot getting back to him.
Trevor is giving it everything he's got, but Clayton Johnson doing just enough to stay on that outside line cleanly, as they're going to have to get around Joseph Swan, so the bottom line kind of off limits for the time being. Johnson turned it down out of turn number 4 that time, maybe trying something to get away from that 24.
Try and do something here. He's got to be careful, though. He can easily end up awry. Easily end up wrong. Freiberg going down low, trying to make a dive, trying to make something happen here. Just nothing there in the middle of the corner. Loses a lot of time as Dalton Kane gets back up to 3 laps to go. Beckner also sitting, waiting in the wings.
That might have been his only shot, and he might have known it. He tried to go for it. He just wasn't close enough to make it work. Clayton Johnson really checked up turn 3, but he's going to get this great run off of turn 4 to get back away, and now it's Dalton Kane all over Freiberger for 2nd. 225 might have enough room, but Weishart's in the wall, and there's another caution.
Caution out just as we head towards the finish. David Weishart involved.
Oh, boy. Just as he said, he was about to be home free, and Weishart in the wall, and I don't think that's what triggered the yellow. I think Jacob Bell, what happened to him did.
Yeah, what happened to Jacob Bell? There's a lot of contact here involved with this little trio. See where it's our Ryan Swan got loose up into the wall. The Weishart that's completely separate of this, and then
just all over the place.
Yeah,
those are 3 guys who were really wearing their stuff out at the beginning, so I doubt they have much tire left.
Yeah, tires are probably shot. Now, if you're Jaden Freiberger now, what on earth do you do? Do you send the Hail Mary, or do you keep yourself in a decent spot? Because he's in second. Not a terrible place to finish, but you're so close to that lead.
You got to get a good restart. I mean, if you let Clayton Johnson get away on this restart, I mean, doesn't matter what you do in the next few corners. If he gets enough of a gap, he's gone. So you need to just hope you time it right, just to stay close to him. And if you think you're close enough to maybe where you can slide up in front of him and force him to the bottom, you go for it. But if he gets away and you can't do that, you just got to hope you can mimic him, hope he makes a mistake, gain some time on him, and then go for it before the checkered flag falls. And just hope you get to the line first if you pull it off in 3 and 4. And if you're Beckner, you wait for them to hit.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to definitely be waiting. I have a feeling we're going to be talking to him at the end of this thing. Somehow, some way, we was talking to Travis Beckner. Effectively makes it his podcast at the end of this thing. He's one position from finishing in the top 3 to talk to us. We'll see what he can do. Dalton Kane holding station pretty well in 3rd place. Solid defense from that 7. We'll see. Will it last? Johnson, Freiberger, Kane, Beckner, Witherspoon. Your order coming to the restart. Will this be the final one? I think it might have to be. We're running out of laps here. Coming to 2 to go. There goes Johnson off and away. Potentially for the final restart. We go green once more in Eldora.
Pretty good gap he got over the 24, but Freiberger is still kind of in striking distance. Sabo going to try to get 5th away from Witherspoon. Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. Here we go. As they come around, white flag in the air. One more lap to go here from Eldora. Johnson had a Freiberger, a bit of a gap developing in behind Dalton Kane. How about Travis Beckner throwing it to the inside?
Cannon got wrecked by Joseph Swan. He's stopped at the start-finish line, but Clayton Johnson's clearing away.
Clearing away, nothing ahead of him to stop him. Here he goes, out of turn 4, winner. Clayton Johnson at Eldora wins the Cyberspace 100. And $50 to his name as some contact occurs across the line and carnage in behind them.
I think Zabo just couldn't get Witherspoon for that 5th spot. Cannon got payback from Joseph Swan once and for all, but Clayton Johnson, whenever he shows up, he is always a threat, and he proved it today.
Fireworks firing in the air, flamethrowers going as well, as Clayton Johnson takes a solid win home. And gotta say, you know, compared to the rest of his wins, I think this is probably the cleanest one he's had. I didn't really see him get into anyone or really move people. I guess he did move Mason Kane, you can argue that, but for the most, compared to the rest of the times he's run, this is actually a pretty solid one. Just really got out there and dominated after the caution.
Maybe he doesn't get there without the yellow, but either way it fell, and he played his cards perfectly with that yellow. And he got to the front, like you said, he got in for 31 a little bit, but after that he was virtually unchallenged. I think he did the best that he could to save the tires. I don't think anyone saved him better than him, as he will drive to victory lane.
He will drive to victory lane, and we'll take the chance to look at our finishing results here as he parks his car in victory lane. Clayton Johnson takes another win, 4th win of the season, if I'm not mistaken. And Jaden Freiberger will finish in 2nd place. Was so close there at the end. Thought he might have had a shot, but not quite close. Dalton Kane rounds out your top 3. And then in behind, Travis Beckner, Jake Witherspoon rounding out your top 5 with Zabo, Senizak, Bormar, Lakatos, and Jacob.
Yeah, then in behind, 11th place, going to go to Ryan Swan. Jacob Cannon mentioned it. He got virtually wrecked by Joseph Swan coming to the white. Pretty intentional for what I saw. Swan 13th. Weishart, who was up at the front before the yellow, 14th. Same thing for Mason Kane. He led maybe the most laps in this race. The yellow fell, kind of ruined that for him. 15th, and Brumpan Carey, who was that yellow, 16th for him.
Yeah, I actually think we'll try to take a look and see what happened there under yellow, or is it coming to the checkered, I should say. Just see what went down, because I think, as you mentioned, I did hear some contact, and there was a loose tire on the front straightaway, so I imagine that might have been a result of that incident. We'll take a look here on the replay. And so this is coming to the white flag, I want to say. So this is Joseph Swan, I think you were saying?
Trying to see. This is the checker.
Oh, this is the checkered, right. This is already after it happened. Ah, here we go. Yeah, that's some rough contact there. I'm really curious what happened between these two. We clearly missed something, because Joseph Swan had it out for Cannon.
Well, he wrecked him out of 4-1s, and I think what I think we missed is Cannon probably got back to him and gave him the business back, which then we saw Swan try to get him back and brought out the yellow on his own. There's Witherspoon trying to get that position away from Beckner, and he couldn't do it, and then they wrecked across the line. But definitely seemed like we missed Cannon Cannon got Joseph Swan back, and I guess that's what all that stemmed from, but don't think that'll go over well.
No, don't think it'll go over well, but we'll take this chance. We'll talk to our top 3 finishers. We'll start first with Dalton Kane in the number 7. Dalton, glad to have you back with us in VDRA, and what a way to return a solid third-place finish for you. Tell me how you managed to pull it off, because, of course, you weren't in the heats. You started from the back.
Oh, yeah, I was playing a different game. Didn't realize it. Had my buddy join in for me.
Oh, boy.
No practice. I haven't even had iRacing this much. I think my first race in a month was last night.
Oh, wow. I can understand that taking a hiatus from things and then coming back feeling all rusty.
Oh, yeah. Just going late model racing.
Yeah, so how was it to return to this field? And we saw it, especially at the beginning, because we're actually going to see it here as I've got the replays pulled up here. In the middle of this hornet's nest, how was it like just trying to find a way forward? Because, of course, you had to manage, pushing the tires, pushing yourself forward, but also not push yourself too hard to keep something for the end.
Yeah, I knew if I stayed with Jaden and Clay and Travis, we would have been good. So I stayed with just straight in that train.
All right, stayed in the train, followed it all the way to the front. Congratulations on your third-place finish.
Yep.
And with that, we'll be talking to our second-place finisher, Jaden Freiberger. And we got him there, the number 24 machine. Jaden, we saw you there. We saw you push so hard there at the end. Not quite enough to get past Clayton Johnson. Tell us how that finish went for you.
That was pretty good. Just got some wheel damage and some damage after the very first yellow when it stacked the field back up. But he was better. He can run the wall a lot better than I can.
Yeah, and we were talking about with Dalton, running at the beginning. Do you feel like you guys were running a little bit too slow and off the pace towards the end? Was it like, oh, we need to start pushing now harder, or did you feel like you're pushing a good pace?
I felt like it was a good pace once the yellow came out. If the yellow never came out, it would have been way too slow of a pace because, we were only a few seconds in front of the leaders.
All right, well, Jaden, a solid finish for you. Not quite the win you would have liked, but a solid second-place finish for you.
Thanks.
And with that, we'll be talking last but certainly not least to Clayton Johnson in the 225 machine. Clayton, you really worked hard for this one, dodging, weaving your way through the field. We saw you in the back hanging out, and we saw you all kind of floor it together, forwarding to the front, and then we saw you with an aggressive move, managing through some of the slower drivers. How you managed to pull it off?
Yeah, I just I felt bad, but I just kept kind of using my mirror that whole time, and Travis Beckner knows tire setting the best, so I figured as long as I stay somewhat in front of him or right behind him and push it about the same time he does, I think I'll be all right. Going into one there, I didn't mean to get in that leader. With how much banking there is here, and I kind of got my rotate to bell all the way up, so I had no idea that he was up there.
Yeah, and that caution coming out, were you anticipating there was going to be a caution? I think even for us in the booth, we were also anticipating there was going to be one, but at the end, were you getting nervous that there was a chance you guys might go green all the way?
Yeah, for sure. I was getting nervous. I kept looking at the leaderboard when I started fully pushing it, and I was only gaining about 0.2 a lap, and I had 8 seconds to go. So if I didn't see that caution, I think, yeah. It would not have turned out the way it did, that's for sure.
All right, well, Clayton, another solid victory to your name and some big money coming your way as well. Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, and with that, we're wrapping up interviews here from Eldora. Clayton Johnson, your winner here for the Cyberspace 100, and what a thrilling one there at the end. We saw a very calm first 74 laps, and at the end, an all-out brawl near the front.
You kind of expected the chaos at some point, just didn't think it would be all kind of backloaded at the end of the race. I think Clayton Johnson kind of knew if that went green, I don't think he wins the race. I think Mason Kane was doing exactly what he needed to do, and I think if that goes green, if Punkeri can get off track or Alt F4, if he doesn't hit the wall, whatever. If it goes green, I think the third one was in a good spot, but it's not the way it played out. The guys who saved their tires got the yellow they needed, and Clayton Johnson, and like you said, and like he said, I think he kind of knew that he had to stay around the 27 to save his tires the best for the end, and I definitely think he saved them better than anyone. And got to the lead, he was kind of untouchable, kind of holding his pace on the top of the racetrack, and we saw Cannon and Beckner get into it again. Beckner probably not happy with how the race went down, but still a good P4 for him. Dalton Kane third in his return, pretty good. Freiberger, another solid result for him. Not another crown jewel victory for him, but another good run. And those 100-lap features, when tire savings in play to get all sorts of players out for the money, it makes this race a big deal, and it was a fun one for sure.
Fun race for sure to see these guys get out there and get down to business. But it's going to be wrapping up coverage here from Eldora Speedway and the Cyberspace 100, the fourth crown jewel event of the season. Still one more to come. That'll be the championship race, the final race of the season on October 22nd. But still some more races in between into that final stretch of races. 5 more to go. We'll be off next week for week 13 in iRacing, and then back on September 17th. Round 20 will be the California Classic at Kern Raceway. My name is Finity Kune here with Connor Horn. We'll be wrapping up coverage here from Eldora. Thank you for watching.